Welcome back to another Medtech Snapshot, where we cover one question and one answer. It's a digest podcast. With me today is Michael O'Connor, and we're going to be going through a variety of discussions hitting on, really business operations, PMO's function within an organization, and another interesting topic covering the aftermath of M&As and how to make that successful. So stay tuned. All right, Michael, so I know I told you we were only going over 2 questions here, but I fibbed a little bit. I tend to enjoy doing that just to get a little surprise here from you. So I'd love to have you walk us through your career in one specific area. So if you can think back to, the longevity of your career, has there been a moment that you've experienced where when you think back on that moment, it was a pivotal moment in your career? It really was, maybe a different way to look at it, a catalyst for moving you in the direction to where you are today. And because of that, when you look back on it, you're like, wow, either I learned so much or I'm thankful for the experience. Is there anything that comes up like that top of mind?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was more earlier in my career. It was with a company called Schneider Worldwide, which was owned by Pfizer Pharmaceuticals. They owned 7 med companies back at the time. And there was a project, and two project managers had recently been fired, and they called it the project from hell. And so the manager called me up in his office and he said, "Hey, are you willing to take this on?" I said, "Yeah, I love the challenge." And it basically was an esophageal silicone covered stent. And without going all the details, it was fairly straightforward. People that were working on it knew what to do, but the last project managers would not allow them because they were engineers. These people were technicians or operators, and they were engineers, so they felt they needed to get the answers. So long story short, let these people put in their ideas, worked with the operators, sat out on the floor a lot. We were the first one out in the market with a covered esophageal stent, and I remember going to the St. Paul VA hospital and seeing the first implant, and they turned the lights on, and the patient sat up, and he drank a glass of water. He said, "That's the first time I drank water in 6 months without having to do a bougie down his esophagus." And I was hooked.
Wow.
I'm like, this is wild. We created that. I was only a small piece of it, but I felt like I allowed all the pieces to fit and work. And we had this out there, and the product was very successful. And we did a revision too, and it was really, really interesting. But that, I think, goes to show where people had the faith in me to lead this. I had the faith in the people that knew what they were doing and had the technical ability. I let them do that, and we came together and we got this thing done. So that was a pivotal part of my career where I'm like, yes, I'm going to stay in med devices. I'm going to keep doing this. And seeing that patient react like that, not all, you can't do that with all med devices, but that was a unique experience, and I was hooked from there forward.
Part of that story, though, that you share that I want to go back to real quick, though, is you were younger in your career, so maybe another way to look at that is you just weren't experienced, right? But you had something presented to you, an opportunity, and you said yes, despite the fact that maybe you didn't have as much experience as you would like, or you knew all the ins and outs, right? So there's a little bit of risk taking there that I'm assuming from your story. Can you share a little bit more about what that was like and maybe why you jumped in?
Well, absolutely. It was risk-taking, but it was at a time where, Pfizer mothership was throwing a lot of money at us, a lot of resources. It was a lot of fun doing what we were doing. I just completed a project that went really well. So I had anything I needed at my fingertips. So I knew whatever I needed, however I needed to get this done, I could do it. But what was really intriguing is 2 people failed at it, and I had the opportunity to try to create success. So that was, to me, that was kind of the most intriguing thing, that, hey, someone wasn't able to do this. And within a week, I listened to people and I'm like, well, the answers are obvious. Let's go do it. And we did it and it worked out. So I think it was all about someone believed in me enough, and I accepted a challenge that other people failed at for other various reasons. But it kind of put me on the map. And even later in life, I got a call from that same manager that bring me to another company. So I went over to work for that person too. So I think he knew I was tenacious enough. I wanted to get things done, and it wasn't that I was the greatest engineer he ever seen or anything. I just figured out ways to get things done and work with people. That was the key. A lot of people had a lot of good solutions, including the operators on the floor. They were the wealth of knowledge, and you just had to listen to them, and it worked. So yeah, a lot of things came together. But you're right. I was young in my career. I wasn't sure about some things. It was a risk, but it was a risk I was willing to take for sure.